Hello everybody, happy day to you all. We're moving on to Tuesday and it's good weather outside. I suspect later we're getting some rain. Put on my collar, but I know long time bachelor, you know. So when you see me here with all these pots, you must want to know what's going on. But I'll tell you what's going on. I found out when I was looking at Lyndon's recent video where he visited Knock-a-Pot. And boy, I was impressed. I was really impressed with the kind of productivity I saw between a husband and a wife. Knock-a-Pot, I want to pay you a little tribute this morning, boy. I like to see the togetherness between husband and wife. I see all the the little balls put out there on the table, and it looks so impressive. And all they working together, and then you had the time to kind of treat Lyndon and his friend. So I want to big up all husbands and wives today who really get together. People in Eddie Hart, people in Tunapuna, people along the Twin City Central Road going to East Gates, who really sit down and they work together. They got up early this morning, they work together. People who are out there, maybe women who drive taxis, whose husband own a taxi and they plow in the road, I really want to pick up the people, I think. People who have birthdays this week, like my neighbor Francis. He's a special neighbor to me, among other special neighbors. But his birthday, I believe, would be tomorrow. If I'm wrong, Francis, forgive me, because you tell me that 100 times. So, not forgive me, I mean, you tell me your birthday when it is, but I believe it to be today. Yeah, I think today is Francis' birthday. So Francis, boy, all the best to you. Hope you live to see, as long as you want to see, many more. And all those who, hustling to school with their kids now, wonderful. Husbands hustling off to work. We had it in our day, Louise and I. And, we could sit back now, relax. Lou could still take a little vacation. I could still be here, looked after. So, guys on Knock-a-Pot and everybody else. And also want to say a special anniversary greeting to Dinesh and Vitz. Happened to be yesterday. Today I understand they're going headlong into doubles. So all the best with your venture today. This is for Knock-a-Pot and anybody else who in the pot. I also want to say, I hoping to add to this clip that we did, Lyndon and I, when we went to Guayco, Tamina. And we were talking about married men, bachelors, people who want to be, romantic, that kind of thing, without caution, what it brings at the end of it all. So my friends, this is just an introduction to that clip. At the same time, is a greeting. And to all who really follow us and are desirous of us doing well, we all want to do well. Trust me, we all want our country to be really well off. So my friends, once again, thank you for the support. Impossible for me to really name all. I mean, I should really take the exercise and write them down, but that will be a little too much for me. So please accept this humble approach, and thank you very much again for all the wonderful people in our beautiful country. Have a good day. Yeah, well, indeed. I want to thank you very much for taking me to see Mr. Sutton up here in Guayco, Tamina. And I want to thank Kim for the pizza that she sent last night. I was able this morning, as a temporary bachelor, if I may so term it, my wife having gone not too far from Trinidad, but I am without her these days.
She needed a break from me out.
Yeah, but she needed a break from me, boy. So I can't term myself a bachelor because they say that once married, if you're separated from your wife, you are divorcee. Fortunately, that's not the position with Mama Lou and I. Yeah? Mama Lou has just gone on a little holiday, but I am experiencing what you would call a kind of a bachelor situation, right? So I have enjoyed very much the some tuna, and he said when I come home I can have that with one slice of bread. That should be lunch. I guess the stove would not be used during Mama's Blue's absence, eh? But how would you term, when you look back at your bachelor days, compare now to your married life? You think you like to go back to?
No, I never really was a true bachelor, you know.
Never.
Because remember, I was unmarried, but I was in another house. But to say go and fend for myself and you know, like what is called, you have your little batchy or whatever, and you're paying your bills and you're managing your life and you're cooking for yourself. No, I was never a true bachelor in that sense.
So when you were home, did you have a sense of married life by watching Mama Lou and I?
Of course, yeah. I mean, like from what point of view, from
how we related to each other?
Yeah, I had a sense of yeah, man. Yeah, it made me appreciate being a bachelor.
Oh, that's so funny. Good.
But I don't know that maybe your commenters could tell you otherwise, but I don't know if you have the right to call yourself a bachelor while you live under the roof of a guardian or a mom and dad who has built that space and provided it for you. And there is I could really talk about that from the perspective of our last child, because it might have some merit in it for someone who is in a similar situation. So let me when you live at home with your parents, you're the last child, maybe there's a part where traditionally that is, you know, you may have a certain idea, well, hey boy, as the last child or the only child, chances are that, you know, I will inherit this home and you get married. That's a thinking that I had.
Right.
So I realized that it was a mistake for me to do that. One, because you're living a lot longer than I expected.
You're growing older too quick.
Yeah. And if you're establishing, I guess the joy of being a true bachelor in the sense of, hey, you know what it is to, let me see, would command a space, make decisions for a space that you could perhaps transition a bit easier into marriage life, right? But I held out maybe a little too long to kind of assert my independence in that sense, because you have a kind of expectation, and what I do, bring a woman in the house and live with her. I'm not saying that is wrong for people who do that, but I became a little bit too comfortable. That's my experience. So who doing otherwise, I'm not finding fault to them. I just say my experience and me reflecting on it.
Right.
I think it would have done a lot for me too if I had the opportunity to maybe really be a bachelor on my own in that true sense. I also see that there may have been certain risk with being a bachelor.
Such as?
On my own. Just in terms of, you know, you might be tempted, you're young and you think you're strong, and you could probably stray a little bit if you're not stable in the spiritual and natural sense.
You would come like a Casanova.
Yeah, Casanova.
You know, Casanova was a real adventurer.
He was a real man?
Apparently he was a real man from Venice, yes. But he was heavy into tracking the opposite sex. You know, not that there was anything romantic or had any kind of emotional connection, as they say, as people who seem to know him say, but that he was just a user of the opposite sex, you know.
But it's interesting what stood out about him, because he certainly is not the first and not the last. So what stood out about Casanova that they would, you know, he was assigned name, so to say. He was given a name, and then that name has passed on, because I know the term Casanova.
No, but that was his real name.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right.
But what about him? Chances are there may have been 10,000 Casanovas before him, or 10 million. So what, he was the most eligible bachelor?
Well, he was an author, as I say. He wrote satires. He did duels, settled matters with the sword or the gun, the pistol. He was a man out there. He was a man out there, and he must have been charming in some way if he was an author like yourself, right? He probably would have commanded a place in society.
I don't think it's about being an author.
You don't think it's about being an author?
It didn't work for me.
It didn't work for me either, brother.
Hey, how the ghost of Cora going?
Boy, he hiding right now, yes?
He
He hiding. Yeah, so, back to this thing about, But, I think, in my day, as a younger fella, I think there are a lot of people. Yes. Very nice. And she said thank you.
Alright.
That's one thing I like about people who are given opportunity to cross the road, pedestrians. And when they say thanks, to me it's a special thing, boy. They appreciate it, I try to tell people who travel with us, when people give you a chance, you just...
Jeez, I'm so sorry, brother. I had no idea that you were crossing for some reason. I think because he was going diagonal. Oh, I thought that was Casanova, but it's really Cassava. Hey, but yeah, Eddie ambitions. Sorry, did you finish your thought with people who say?
Yeah, I'm through that. Yeah, just be polite. That's great.
Yeah.
Any thought what?
Yeah, like aspirations of being a Casanova. Partner, that is one of the worst aspirations a young man could have.
Of course.
Seriously.
Yeah, there's no glory in it at the end. Years ago, as a young teenager, I read this book called Casanova. I didn't even know it was pertaining to somebody whose name was real and whose exploits were real, right? But okay, I never was influenced to say, well, hey boy, I want to be like this guy. But I have known people in Port of Spain. I have known characters who strutted around as though they were Casanovas in their own way, right? But to me, they were always...
What's one thing they all tend to have in common?
a lack of direction, right? Yeah, a lack of direction. They all seem to be trained on one thought, and it was not a progressive style. I would advise any young man in our society today to be very careful about images that you want to acquire, images you want to provoke in your own experiences. They don't pay off. At the end of that book, Casanova, you know what he said? He never lived to get married, to have a family. And he was lying on his deathbed and saying, you know, my life has been a waste. I have achieved nothing really. I've gone down as a glorious adventurer, but there's nothing to show. There's no lineage to follow. Right? And they do say that married men have a better, stabler lifestyle than bachelors. In that there's a support system in a home that helps them to overcome issues, you know, whatever might be problematic. You have a support system. Can you imagine a bachelor coming home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine a bachelor coming home, and then he might have had a good day. He might have had a good day believing that, you know, he conquered certain things. But at the end of it all, what would he put on in his diary? But the married man, he comes home to a family Like you will do in a little while, right? And you will be with Anna, Haley, and others who have kids and want to know how they did in school today. You could tell them that you went to see Mr. Sutton and this 103-year-old man, how his mental faculties are intact, and they could aspire to something. But what does the bachelor really have, boy? I asked that question to a young fella yesterday. You know, what do you think about bachelors versus married men?
No, but you're speaking here specifically about the bachelor who is the Casanova type, right? Because some people end up, hey, there might be a bachelor through, you mentioned it earlier, divorce. So by divorce, he end up becoming a bachelor again,
No,
right?
he's no longer a bachelor. Once you have been married and you're divorced, you're a divorcee.
Okay.
You don't go back. For instance, I could say Louise is not here, so I'm a temporary bachelor, which would be incorrect anyway.
Okay. So it is really only considered up to the point of marriage that you are a bachelor. You don't ever get back that title once you're married.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
But he could have a relationship. I don't know. I don't know if I'm correct. He could have a relationship, and I don't know if there are children involved. Is as good as being married.
I guess we'll have all these kind of little technicalities to accommodate and appease everybody that needs to be accommodated and appeased.
Well, they could follow it up with
But
their life,
you
right?
know, no, but it's also choice in that, because we haven't given any consideration to the man who he knows, hey, I am a bachelor, and there's a part of me that suspect whether he's a Casanova or not is our next question. But there's a part of him that says, hey, I just really comfortable with this lifestyle.
Yeah.
I don't want to be married. I don't want to have children.
True.
So, is it that what you're presenting is that all bachelors are going to die lonely, regardless of if he?
No.
Or you're talking specifically here about the bachelor who is on conquest of the opposite sex?
Well, you know, people who do analyses of situations tend to feel that married men have a better lifestyle than a bachelor. The bachelor who goes home, he might just be a lonely type, might be a very introvert type. Of course, all of this is open to plenty controversy, yeah? Because a man who might be looking at his neighbor who is married and realize, hey, you don't have a good lifestyle, boy, I better stay away from marriage. Right?
Exactly.
Right? I really can't take on a partner who is nagging me. I can't take on a partner who is always complaining about money, complaining about society, complaining about who have a better home, who doing better, whose children doing better. Right? There might be all these negatives that goes in this guy to say, you see me, boy, I better off without a kid. But in the long run, I appreciate, from a viewpoint of as being a married man and Mama Lou not here, I could appreciate the value of having a wife who you could relate to, who is charming and caring and sharing.
You have some qualifiers that you need inside of there to say, hey, I am really happy that I made the decision to transition from a bachelor to a married man.
My memory could take me back to days before I was married, and the exploits I might have had, they don't come readily to mind. But things I have done with Mama Lou and the children, they mean more to me, right? So Lenny, thank you very much, boy. I will let you take your call now.
I didn't know that I didn't take a call that driving, but
Ah.
I don't know that I had anything really helpful, so forgive me if I didn't.
Well, you probably you're learning to be a good married man, so you know what this.
Yeah, I don't have much I could say as yet. I give about 10 to 15 years God willing, and hopefully I'll learn one lesson that could be useful.
What do you think that lesson might be?
But I do appreciate, being able to join heads with somebody, plan things together with that person, and know that your joy could extend beyond yourself by sharing a life with your wife. And when you see your children enjoy things as well, is this opportunity to maybe kind of re-enter even the childhood that you knew. So I am glad that you decided to stop being a bachelor. Because I have to thank you that by making that decision, you
came along.
You came along. And could have come along under very different circumstances or not at all.
Oh, gee whiz, that's true.
I appreciate you, standing by your commitment to be a married man and giving us a very safe upbringing. And it's truly an example of you doing that and you and mommy in your own ways making choices that, well, maybe I doing an okay job at it. So that's it.
So thank you, my friends. All the best to you on this beautiful Thursday, 20 after 12. High sun, high noon.
This man want to overtake in second gear.
I don't know, but he wants a push. So here we are on the connector road going back to the highway, Theodore Roosevelt. Very useful road. Connector roads in Trinidad are pretty good. And once again, Lenny, you want to shout out to anybody?
Yeah, man, I want to tell my beautiful wife, pleasant day. I know you don't watch my father and them videos, but I saw it. Maybe one day in the distant future, when you're a widow, you will see it. Yeah, man. And to mommy, and to my sister Liba, and to my next sister Lisa, and to my next brother Lasana. I hope all are going good. And everybody else who really endure everything Daddy had to say to reach the end of this video. I don't know how it is do it, but all are good. But all are stamina. Thanks for the support.
Thanks for the support. And I want to say to my beautiful wife, Louise, wherever you are at this moment, abroad, you just don't forget me. Thank you very much.